Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been living under a rock, you ain't been well certified. I just posted one of the most sensational training films that I've ever seen. They're not, they've already done it. They're doing it, and they keep on doing it. This is one of the three Howe brothers that have been mastering this, and Brian is one of the well certified attorney at law. I want to thank you very much for taking me under your wing. But
Well, I want to thank you for keeping me so busy.
all right then. So here we are, man. You got the brother Pat. You got the brother Joe, who is still the last on the team, the last D1 national champion from St. Louis, when he played for SIU over in, I guess, 79.
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
nobody's no net NCAA championship since then.
No, not that I know of.
Wow.
National champion, you get into the whiff, but to hoist the trophy, no. So,
That's pretty wild.
yeah, man. Yeah. And so that's why you reached my essence is that the situation is that you made it simple. That complicating things on the pitch is not the place nor the time to start. You got a simplicity is close to genius, and I would imagine when you work a case, you want to put it in a simple form for the judge and or the jury to understand your client's innocence or having to come with the monies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can tell you from being a juror, I looked at them, I looked at her, and I said, "Man, that's genius." And then others, you say, "Man, you couldn't pay me to pay you." So, can you give us a little insight how somebody can go about to watch it, uh, and then to after watching it, they find out where to watch it. What are they watching?
Okay. Just first of all, in terms of the video, it's on YouTube and it's under the T.Howe Standard 25-26. So I don't have the. It should be you should be able to find it by searching under the name. But what that was is we created that video to show our current players and parents our style and how we go about it because we know that what we ask of our players, even at the youngest ages, is going to cause them to lose games early on because we don't allow them to just kick the ball. We require them to play out of the back. And, 8, 9 year olds are going to make mistakes and it's going to end up in the back of our goal. But we wanted the players and the parents to understand why we're okay with that because we're looking long term and we're developing our players to play a certain style that we believe over time, once they master it, is the best way to play. Um, and so, what we did with that video was just put some clips together of what you typically see at a youth or high school game, and then compared that to what you would see at one of our games, either with our current group, and right now those kids are 9 or 10 years old, um, or what you would have seen with our earlier group, that we took from second grade through high school, and they're now in college.
Wow.
And it's just a demonstration of our style, and the purpose of it was to show the families that, hey, there's a reason why we do things the way we do them.
Wow, Brian. I mean to tell you, T.Howe, for anybody and everybody, it mentions your older brother, Tommy Howe.
Exactly. And Pat and I and Joe coach this team. Tommy comes out and helps us sometimes, but the whole thing that we do is based upon what he's developed, what Tommy's developed over the last 50 years. Um, we use his drills and we follow his philosophy. So it's us out there on the regular basis, but we're just doing what he taught us.
Yeah. And your brother was a champion, I believe, for St. Williams, and then over at SIU, and was a professional for over a handful of years, and a national champion coach for junior ball.
He with SIU, I think he was coaching at the time they won the championship.
Okay.
That was a year after he graduated in '72.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, and then he's coached 7 teams to national championships, and I think 14 teams to regional championships.
7 national championships.
Yes.
Oh, some folks like myself. Oh, he's got less than a handful. Just a couple. And 7. And what do you think, Brian? How many different sets of players was that? Was it did 3 of them could have the 4 or 5 of the nucleus, or how did it all work out the numbers wise?
Specifically, I don't know, but it wasn't as if one team captured a bunch of those 7. It was spread out over several different teams. But again, the specific numbers, I don't have that offhand. But then you look at what he's done out of this metropolitan area of about 1.5 million people, and he's put untold numbers of players in college, dozens of players in the pros. And the thing I find real interesting is that this one coach has put 4 different players on U.S. World Cup teams.
Bingo! You just got under the rock, baby. Nice going. Yeah. Oh man, that's goosebumps style there, man. And I brought that all up because that is what you house now, Pat, Joe, and Brian. That's what you're bringing out, saying, "Hey, listen, we have these players, but we could use you to come in. We can work with everybody. It's not like one stop. Once you got to be a certain type of person. That's what you are thrilled about, is to develop new players on a continuous basis.
Oh, absolutely. And you just mentioned to make it available. Tommy has always been extremely generous with his drills and being willing to share what he's developed. And now with us, with this group, and it's a great group. Just seeing what they're able to do, it's just such a thrill as a coach. And it really is just, it motivates you even more to
Yeah,
bring to them what Tommy's developed and see what they can do with it. And this group that we've got right now is doing a lot with it, and it's given us a lot of hopes for the coming years.
yeah,
Because we've got a number of kids who are just really driven to be outstanding players, and they're willing to put the time in on their own, which makes all the difference.
Well, I tell you, I went to high school with your brother Jerry. I was a couple years behind him, and I met your family, your brothers. I haven't met any of the sisters, but I was told.
There's a reason for that, Kevin. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I understand. All right, and the parents, but it always about caring and sharing. That there was your community. You know, you always had a sense of community.
Yeah, our parents really drove that home to us as we're growing up, that you've got a responsibility to other people, and we try to follow that. And
Yeah.
part of that is this coaching, but I got to tell you, we get a lot back from it, because it has been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing, man. If you ever met a Howe, you had fun. You had a smile, baby. I mean, come on. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, usually.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Irish eyes. Yeah, the smile. So the whole story is that this, what you have, the little diamond in the rough there, that it was pressured to make, that it's a whole different type of deal than what a normal run of the mill soccer person would think is happening. It's completely the antithesis. Is that how I would describe it? It's completely opposite. It's the new, fresh way to play, but it's it's time tested. You know,
Yeah,
and
and
go.
we think it's noticeably different. And just, I guess, basically what you're going to see with our team is sustained possession, um, through mainly short, quick passes, um, constant movement off the ball. Um, you'll rarely, if ever, see a ball driven down the field in the air. Um, because the way we look at it is, if you control the ball, you control a game.
Simple 101, baby.
Like you said, try to keep it simple.
Yeah. So you have all that. Do you you say, hey, the politics of everything, debating. Here it is. If you want it, come on. But we're not changing.
Now, that's part of the whole thing is that to be successful at following Tommy's style, you have to be totally committed to it. And that's the way we look at it. Is if you're going to play the game, this is the way to do it. And like you said, we're not going to change.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. And, one of the reasons I said that is not too long ago, TiVo, Total Football, it's Johan Cruyff's son-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd Bean. Is that they, at Barcelona, they train and their philosophy is the same way from U8 all the way to the first team. Everybody does it the same, and obviously the expectations are different as you go up, but you play the same way, man. It's a ball.
I yeah, I think it has to be. That's how it should be in all these clubs that are around. But I'm not aware of any club that does it that way around here, or in the U.S. in general. Totally agree with that philosophy. That hey, if this is the way our top team plays, this is the way all our teams play. Because what you're looking for is to develop players who advance through a system up to the first team. If they're playing different styles, that's going to make it that much more difficult.
That's what they talked about the Cardinal way, didn't they, baby?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So that whole thing, Seth, can you throw down? I don't want to put you on the spot. This is unrehearsed, but do you know of a noticeable reason why that isn't?
I think a big part of it is coaches don't like to be told how to do it. And I think it was Tab Ramos who said one of the big problems with American soccer is the coaches are arrogant and they don't think they have anything to learn. And so, from what I see, most coaches coach the way they were coached. So they're using the drills that they came up with or came up under. And if that's the case, if each successive generation of coaches coaches the same way as they were coached, there's never any progress. The game stagnates. And I think that's what we're seeing across the country, and particularly here in St. Louis. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail.
Oh no, that just got you in the Whale Certified Hall of Fame, Brian. Yeah, baby. I mean, come on. That was stunning, man. That is a simplistic thing that it's not rubbing anybody the wrong way. It is what it is, that story. But that it takes more to not be like that. It's normal. It's well, it's what most people do. It's not a high standard, By doing a high standard, you really got to put yourself in it. Your mind, body, and soul. You got to think. You got to move. You got to act. It's a whole way. Playing soccer like you guys play soccer, hey man, that takes a person on and off the field all day, every day. It's a whole different deal. The personality, the technique, and everything. Wow, and the speed of play, the speed of thought. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, that's an important point because the way I look at it, what we're trying to do is develop players who have the mental ability to make the correct decisions instantaneously and to execute those decisions with the fewest touches possible. Because any mental delay in making a decision and any additional touch that you take it's unnecessary starts to swing the advantage to the opposing team to be able to shut you down.
Under full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, that was a whale certified AI, Brian Howe, ladies and gentlemen. If I wanted to be somebody, you're the guy I want to be. That was outstanding. Man. Oh, you just went top shelf, baby. Holy cow. And that's the beauty of it. What you said, that's what your brothers believe. And their your ripple effect of your soccer genius is that I understood it. I didn't know it, but I understood it, and I agreed with it. And
Yes.
yeah, I'm biting at it to get at it. But yeah, man, way to go, way to go.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and you mentioned the effort involved, and what we do. We always make sure that we've got our practices planned out in advance, um, so we're not just winging it when we get out there. And then, as you see from that video that we talked about, we record our games, even at these young ages, so we can review them and see what's working and what's not working. And then, once we started recording the games and started going back over them, I started running stats on them. So I could come to an understanding of what was working and what wasn't, and how our system compares to other systems. Because then, aside from running stats on our games, I'd run stats on high school games, other youth teams, college games, and even a few of the national team games, just to get an idea of how our system, Tommy's system, stacks up against these others. And I like what I've seen from that analysis.
Yeah, when I all the way, it's just this only happened the last couple of years of understanding and taking stats, and it really it really enhances the experience, the joy of being, love of soccer. Uh, it was always, in my eyes that, went to my gut to, say this and that. But to really the statistical facts of what's happening is a real deal, man. I mean, you cannot deny it.
No, I I really do believe that it enhances your understanding of the game, and I'll give you an example. As I mentioned, we don't want our players to just drive the ball down the field up in the air, the typical long ball. We want to play it on the ground 2 feet. Um, and yeah, one of the things I've done in running statistics on these different games is I've done an examination of hundreds of long balls played by other teams, and what I found is 90% of those long balls are turnovers.
Yep.
Only 10% does the kicking team retain possession. And to me, a lot of this is just, does it make logical sense? And something like that, if you're kicking the ball down the field and you've only got a 1 in 10 chance of retaining possession, to me, that doesn't make logical sense.
No, not at all. Goalkeeper distributes the ball. Hey, stop hitting it up in the air, will you? Come on. You know, I mean, you're up in the air to go right down to somebody's foot or into an open space, but my gosh, it just doesn't go up. There's just, throw it in the mixer. A friend of ours, he always talks about, all right, ready for the kickoff. I said, what are you talking about? Football. When you play a football game, you kick off. Yeah, that's all it is. And what is the strategy behind the center off now, and everybody boots it up into the corner or to the goalkeeper or something?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another one to me that makes no logical sense. You overload one side, you have 3 or 4 players run down into the corner of the other team's side of the field, and then you have somebody drive the ball into that corner. And I guess the thought is one of two things: either one of your players is going to take it down and control it, or the other team's going to try to control it and you're going to take it away from them. But that's not what happens. I mean,
No,
the
it
defense,
doesn't.
it's already in position because it's a kickoff, so they know what's coming. They drive the ball down there, and in America, pretty much nobody plays the way that they're going to try to control that ball. What they're going to do is either head it or kick it back up the field. And when they do that, they're going to beat the 3 or 4 of your players that ran down into that corner and take them out of the play. And it's like, okay, if you want to do it that way, the smart thing to do would be to kick it into the corner out of bounds, make the other team throw it in, and then try to win it back after you've had your players get in position to defend. I'm not advocating that, but if that's the way you want to go, that should be the way you do it.
Yeah. It was one time I seen it. It was unbelievable. They centered off, and it went back, and it went back again, and the striker for our team just ran all the way through to the last guy and intercepted the line from the last pass to the, and he got the ball, went around and shot into a goal.
Oh, before they even had a chance to drive it into the corner?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nutty that you're centering off and you hit it go back to the goalkeeper. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of it is just simple logic, and it just doesn't make sense.
yeah, yeah. And so that whole deal about that, when somebody, you know, 10, 12-year-old kid, uh, you say, hey, this is a little game of your highlights. What? Yeah, and a person would watch themselves play. Have you had you had a nurse on duty or a psychiatrist on duty so they wouldn't hide from themselves, or would you say, hey, this is a learning experience?
You mean from the game videos,
Yeah,
or
yeah. A player understanding what they're watching, and not and to be able to be confident enough to say, I'm not going to play like that anymore. I'm going to do this and that.
yeah, and we do at times we'll show them a number of sequences, where they've done something, and we'll point out that, hey, look, it's not working. Try this instead. And the one thing that pops to mind is you see it with a lot of little kids. They receive the ball, they stop the ball, and then they try to turn with the ball, and there's a defender standing right there, and you know they're not going to beat a defender that way. They're turning right into them.
Yeah.
And so, for a situation like that, it's like, okay, try a layoff instead, and then do a blindsided run. Um,
Mm, 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 mm.
and the kids take it to heart, and it's once they see that it works, it's like, oh yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this all day.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what happens is that the right way, in the right time, in the right place, it success every time. I mean, you got to be a really unbelievable defensive team to have uh, that mindset to be able to intercept it. Otherwise, you're going to be successful all the time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our teams don't win all the time, and that's not to be expected. But we believe that this style puts them in a position to win much more often than not, especially as they get older and they really master the process.
Yeah, yeah. I hope I didn't to make myself clear. The winning, that's a whole different show. I'm just talking about a particular situation in game intelligence.
Right, right.
Yeah, that it'll work every time.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, like we know people who dribble out of bounds off the end line.
yeah,
I
yeah,
bet my house on it. I bet
yeah.
my house on it.
We know some that if there wasn't a fence around the field, they'd keep dribbling in.
Oh yeah, and how about this Tom Byer? Soccer starts at home. How about that, huh? That it starts in at the home, in the rat sculler in the basement or the playroom, and then you go outside. I guess the Howes they had a backyard that the neighborhoods would say, "Hey, come on, man, can't you go down the street?"
Yeah, I think there were times you go, what's with those house kids that they're always out there with the soccer balls.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Yeah,
but yeah, and Tom Byer, I mean, he's done such a great job, but the sad part is he's doing it over in Japan because over here in the United States nobody appreciates it.
yeah, yeah,
And
buddy. The last guy they had like that was Jesus from Nazareth. They said, "Hey, they said, hey, get out of town, man. Get going." Yeah. So and with the Bob Dylan, everybody must get stoned. You know, it and and the latest thing is, if you're not in over your head, get the hell out. You know, and you know because you're supposed to be doing something that is that it has to strive to get to the highest standard. And when you're flying with the eagles, man, there's no pigeons around. You know, if you see pigeons, get up higher. You know.
Yeah, that's right. And I was saying about that today. It's if you give a kid a challenge to meet, like, hey, you show them a skill and say, we want to see you be able to do this by next week. You know, kids love that. They want to
Wow.
come back and say, hey, look, I did it. And then they want to show you.
Wow. I just got a thought. See if this plays out in the law. That you have, there are rules, there are disciplines, there, for lack of care, there's ways that people learn. And so if you want to tell a jury how to go about there's mechanisms, there's a process of how that person will learn the truth. And have you found that you reached out and tried to understand how people learn?
Um, we haven't, like, well, we've done it some, and Pat's done it more than I have. But we've talked about that, man, at some point, I'd really like to sit down with somebody who's an expert in child development because we see certain things over and over, and it's like, well, this must just be the natural process of kids figuring things out because they almost all do the same thing. Uh, just as a simple example, you put cones out to set up a drill, and the kids automatically stand right next to the cones. And it's like, well, we don't want you there. Get away from the cone. But there's something that draws them to that. And so, yeah, there are things that I would love to know from a child development perspective.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have it there, an unrehearsed moment, you know, and that'll take us because we're going to be doing this in another 30, 40 days. We're going to have another episode with Whale Certified, and that's going to be one of the answers to the question. You got homework to do.
Okay, so I got to track down a child development expert.
Just talk to your brother Pat. He'll
No,
straighten you out.
I was going to say I'll just use Tommy.
Okay. All right, all right. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right. Now, uh, we've this is one of the most informative episodes after over 500 plus episodes of Whale Certified. So you're doing good, Brett.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So to wrap it up, there's a custom here at Whale Certified to say, hey, Brian, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to for as long as you want to say it for. This is your chance.
Okay. Since we're talking about it, I just want to pay tribute to the group of players and parents we have right now. It's a real special group. They're real supportive. They're really bought into the system. And this is something that I'd also be interested to find out if there's been a generational change or generational shift because the parents we have that we're dealing with now, they are not the participation trophy type parents. They're like with their kids, hey, you want to win something, you got to work at it. You're not just going to get a trophy for participating. And I don't know if we just happen to luck into a group like that, or like I said, if there's been a generational change and other coaches are seeing that too. But that's all I wanted to say is how much we appreciate working with the kids and the parents that we've got right now.
A college goalkeeper up in Milwaukee uh, looked at uh, that YouTube T.Howe. Is that it's called T.Howe Standard or something?
Yeah, the T.Howe Standard.
Yeah, she watched it and jaw drop. Holy cow! Because it really you made it right with editing and doing it right, and you see and you come to believe that this method is the way.
That's
Yeah.
what we think.
Yeah. All right then. Well, so you know that I know that you know you're in the Whale Certified Hall of Fame.
I look forward to getting my jacket.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's right. You would you rather have a long jacket or a waist jacket?
Tails.
Hmm.
Tails.
All right then. So it almost anybody can be whale certified, but they have to try. Take care, Brian.
All right, Kevin.